In a small, fog-shrouded village, there lived a woman named Elara, known as the most beautiful and cunning of her time. But beneath her flawless exterior lay a heart as cold as the winter winds that howled through the valley. She had a single son, Corin, whom she viewed not as a child to love but as a tool to manipulate. Elara's power in the village came not only from her beauty but also from whispered rumors of her dark dealings. Many believed she had struck a bargain with the shadows that lurked in the nearby forest, trading pieces of her soul for youth and influence. Her son, unfortunately, became her greatest pawn in this dark game. Before darkness descended, the village of Lumora was a beacon of life and joy. Nestled in a valley surrounded by rolling green hills and sparkling rivers, its beauty was matched only by its people's kindness. Children played in sunlit meadows, merchants filled the market square with laughter, and the church bell rang every evening, calling villagers to prayer. Elara was already the most beautiful woman in Lumora, a young African woman with flawless brown skin that shimmered in the sunlight, a curvy, graceful figure, and long, shiny hair that caught the breeze like a flowing ribbon of black silk. Men admired her, women envied her, and children stared in awe. But beauty was not enough for Elara. She yearned for power, wealth, and eternal youth. Though admired by all, Elara felt an invisible barrier separating her from the happiness that others seemed to enjoy. She was ambitious, cunning, and restless, longing for a life beyond the simple comforts of the village. Her envy for the respect given to the village elders and her hunger for admiration beyond beauty consumed her. One moonless night, Elara ventured deep into the forest that bordered Lumora. The villagers had warned of ancient, malevolent spirits that resided there, but Elara's desire outweighed her fear. At the heart of the woods, she found an ancient altar carved from black stone. A shadowy figure emerged from the darkness, its form shifting and fluid, its voice a chilling whisper. "What do you seek, beautiful one?" the shadow hissed. "Power," Elara replied, her voice steady. "I want to rule, to be admired, to never fade." The shadow offered her a bargain, beauty eternal and the power to bend the village to her will, in exchange for pieces of her soul. With every soul fragment given, the shadows would gain a tighter grip on her, but Elara cared not for consequences. She sealed the pact with a drop of blood, and the shadow vanished, leaving her with an unnatural glow that seemed to radiate from within. When Elara returned to Lumora, she was transformed. Her beauty, once breathtaking, became otherworldly. Her brown skin seemed to glow, her emerald green eyes held an unearthly allure, and her long, glossy hair flowed like liquid obsidian. She spoke, and her voice compelled obedience. The villagers were enchanted. Men abandoned their wives to seek her favor, merchants showered her with gifts, and even the elders bowed before her. She declared herself the queen of Lumora, and the villagers accepted her rule without question. Her home became a palace, draped in silks and gold, and no one dared challenge her authority. But with every passing day, the village began to change. The vibrant colors of Lumora dulled, the meadows grew barren, the river slowed, and a fog settled over the valley. The villagers became hollow, their once bright eyes dimming as their devotion to Elara consumed them. Elara reveled in her power, basking in the adoration of her subjects. Yet, her pact with the shadows came at a cost. Each time she used her power to command or manipulate, she felt a part of herself slipping away. Nightmares plagued her sleep, and whispers from the forest grew louder, reminding her of her bargain. Despite the decay of the village and the unease that settled over the people, they remained devoted to her. To them, Elara was a goddess, and their suffering was a small price to pay for her presence. Elara, however, knew the truth: she was no goddess. She was a prisoner of her own ambition, bound by the very power she had sought. When her son, Corin, was born, he became the one light in her dark existence. Yet even he was not spared her ambition. She saw him as a tool, a vessel to further her legacy, and began grooming him to take her place. But Corin's heart was pure, untouched by the shadows, and he began to see the cracks in his mother's facade. As Corin grew older, he yearned for his mother's affection, but all he received was her scorn and cold commands. "You will do as I say," she hissed one night, her emerald eyes gleaming like shards of glass. "This world offers no place for the weak, and I will not allow you to drag me down with your softness." Elara sent Corin into the forest with a blade and a mission: to bring back the heart of a wild stag, an offering for the shadowy entity she served. Trembling, Corin entered the woods, the whispers of unseen things echoing in his ears. But instead of finding a stag, he encountered a woman cloaked in moonlight. The woman introduced herself as Celine, a guardian of the forest, and told Corin the truth about his mother. "Elara has bound her soul to the shadows," Celine said. "Her evil will consume her, and you, unless you sever the bond." For the first time, Corin felt a flicker of defiance. He asked Celine for her help, and she gave him a single silver dagger, forged to pierce the veil of darkness. "You must face her, Corin. Only you can break her hold on the village and yourself." The village's fog thickened, the people's devotion turned to fear, and Corin found himself standing at the edge of the forest, clutching a silver dagger. The whispers had told him the truth: the only way to free Lumora and his mother from the shadows was to sever the bond she had forged. Elara's sin had cast a shadow over Lumora, but her son held the light that could banish it. Will he do it? She's his mother, the only person born by blood. Corin had many questions going through his mind, and all ended up unanswered. When Corin returned home, his mother was waiting, her lips curling into a venomous smile. "Did you succeed?" she purred, reaching for the pouch on his belt. But Corin stepped back, holding the silver dagger aloft. "No more, mother," he said, his voice trembling yet resolute. Elara's beauty melted away as rage twisted her features. "Ungrateful wretch," she shrieked. Shadows poured from her fingers, coiling like snakes around the room. The battle was swift and fierce. Elara's dark magic lashed out, but Corin, fueled by years of suppressed pain and a newfound courage, struck true. The silver blade pierced her heart, and the shadows wailed as they dissolved into nothingness. As Elara crumpled to the floor, her eyes flickered with a brief moment of something almost human. "I only wanted power," she whispered before the life drained from her. The village awoke the next morning to find the fog lifting for the first time in decades. Corin, though haunted by what he had done, felt a strange lightness in his chest. He had faced the darkness, and won. But deep in the forest, the shadows stirred again, whispering his name.